Hallå och välkommen tillbaka till en ändå hyfsat spännande fortsättning utav Senjou no Maou. Det här är avsnitt 13. Det är avsnitt 13 indeed. Och förra avsnittet så klarade vi av chapter 1 tydligen. Så att då blev vi utkickade här till huvudmenyn igen och måste förmodligen välja en next chapter för att komma vidare. Det är lite förvånande. Jag kan inte riktigt minnas någon version novel som har gjort så tidigare. Samtidigt har jag inte spelat jättemånga version novels så att jag vet inte. Vi tar next chapter bara, se vad som händer. Okej. Okay. School hours are actually my hours off. Nu var en helt ny karaktär. My name is Lunanesca. Even though today is Monday, I skipped school in order to perform my prioritized tasks. Today I'll be investigating the upcoming redevelopment of the Eastern District. Following the success of the theme parks downtown, they hope to draw a swarm of large-scale entertainment businesses into the region. Though the Asai Corporation doesn't directly deal in real estate, projects like these still bring people knocking on our doors. When they are a front for organized crime, your special brand of land sharking and property acquisition is always in demand. Men det är väldigt skumt också för att jag fick inte möjligheten att spara eller något sånt där. Vi har fått 2 val i spelet och jag antar att de måste ju komma över hit liksom. Det är bara svårt att lite grann fatta varför de gör på det där sättet, men I'm very sorry. This is simply an accounting error. I apologize for the mistake. Ever since my meeting with Usami 2 days ago, my mind has been wandering. Right, I'm heading there now to look for myself. I couldn't concentrate at all yesterday, and my head felt sluggish. Almost like I wasn't fully awake yet. Which is quite odd, considering I went straight to bed after leaving the coffee house on Central Boulevard. This is all Usami's fault. I suddenly thought of Usami in her penguin suit. After hanging up the phone, I watched the passing crowds with apathy. And I walked past the shop Usami worked at. I saw that she wasn't there. What? A voice suddenly called out to me from behind my back. Låter inte som dig alls. What is this all of a sudden? Okay. Is she retarded? Va? What about you? Why aren't you at school? You always look gloomy. Go get a haircut. Vänta, vad var det hon sa? Have you heard the good news? Hon vill ju bara... Alltså jag vet inte, allt hon gör känns som att det finns någon baktanke bakom det liksom. Jag tror bara att hon ville se våran reaktion. För hon har någonting som hon kan... hon kan få ut någonting utav beroende på hur vi reagerar på det där förmodligen. You always look gloomy. Go get a haircut. An unusually sincere look of surprise erupted on her typically smug face. What? Why? Why would you think I like long hair? She just wanted to con a meal out of me. That's not going to happen. I'm busy right now. My hesitation was clearly a mistake. Do you have some business with me? Usami laughed. That smug smile was back on her face. She spoke so nonchalantly. What did you say? What did you say? You met Maou? Det var hela 10 steg oss emellan. Det var inte mycket. Det var trappsteg. Oh. Ha. En backlit to boot. Jag ska se om jag kan... Oj. Jag ska se om jag kan lägga mig ner ett tag och spela det här istället. Måste jag vila ryggen här, så nu får jag ligga ner och spela det här spelet ett tag. In other words, you didn't see his face. Was it good words? Really? Usami is rather eccentric, so no one can ever be sure when she's being serious or not.
ところで、アザイさんは昨日もお仕事されてたんですか?
She changed the topic again. I can't help but feel that she's trying to corner me. I was. What about it?
アザイさんのお仕事は大抵電話で済むんですかね?
Well, occasionally something comes up that can't be resolved over the phone, but that's neither here nor there. Tell me about Maou.
昨日はどちらに?
What she's getting at. I went to Central Boulevard in the afternoon.
そうっすか.
Other than that, I was at home most of the day.
誰かと会ったりしていましたか?
What's this all about? It's as if you're checking my alibi. Because she is. I only meant it as a joke, but Sami responded with a confident smile.
マオはこの街を知り尽くしている人物です。どの路地が最小限の時間で姿を消すのに適しているのか、どんな場所が相手に顔を見られずに逃走できるのか。
Sami stared intently into my eyes. Is he a man?
おそらく。しかし、綺麗な声でした。ああいう声を出せる女性にいても
Androgynous
中性的な
charm.
魅力もありました。
Åh nej, nu har jag fått lock i örat. She tiptoed around the question. I guess she wanted to give her opinion without coming to any definite conclusions yet. So, he escaped.
残念ながら。
I took out my wallet from the breast pocket of my suit. I want to hear everything in detail. I motioned toward the coffee house with my chin.
お仕事はいいんですか?
Don't worry about it. Surveying the Eastern District can wait until this evening.
じゃあ自分カツ丼で。
They don't have it.
あ、つゆだくがいいです。
Gå någon annanstans då. Måste ni gå till the Lapis Lazuli? Tydligen måste de det. I pretty much heard the whole story.
市内をだいぶ走り回りましたよ。
Usami played along with Mao's games and performed fairly well.
最後はしてやられました。姿を見られない場所に誘い込まれているとは気づきませんでした。
Jag fattar inte riktigt vad han får ut av överhuvudtaget ens liksom visa sig. Så. In the end, what did Maou want to do?
おそらく私に興味を示したんだと思います。
Interest? Why? Why would someone with the power to circulate drugs in secret be interested in a high school girl?
因縁があるんですよ。
High school girl? We have a bit of history. What happened?
それを言うにはまだまだ友情が足りません。
Come on now. Weren't you the one that said we should find Maou together? Usami shook her head.
いいですか、アザイさん。我々は敵と書いて友と読むような関係です。利害関係の一致から協力しているだけです。魔王という強大な敵を倒すために一時的に力を貸し合っているのです。それ言い過ぎか。仲間なんだけどお互い秘密が多すぎていまいち信用できないだけか。
Your rambling is annoying.
ちなみにアザイさんは敵だった時は強いんだけど仲間になった途端に弱くなるタイプかと。
Det låter som alla karaktärer. Det är så det är med alla karaktärer någonsin. Man liksom möter en bossfight och så, ja, de är jättesvåra, döda. Liksom 80 000 HP. Sen joinar de ett party efteråt. Ja, nu har du, vadå, på sin höjd 2000 liksom. Det är alla spel någonsin. Not exactly sure what she meant by that, but she seems to be mocking me.
まあすいません。自分は魔王に恨みがあるとだけ言っておきます。
Well, I have a grudge against him too. My grudge is bigger than yours. Gonzo came down hard on me because of that guy. I processed all the information. So, Maou already knows everything about you, from your job to this coffee house. He even knows your nickname, Hero.
ですね。
On top of that, he prepared graffiti in advance and used his lackeys to relay messages to you. He probably uses the same kids to move his drugs around. Maou must be a person with a lot of power. Vänta lite.
どういう意味で実力者ですか?
Well, at the very least he's got a lot of money. He has someone working to get information on you, doesn't he?
あるいは私の近くにいる人間こそが魔王なんでしょう。
Maybe. I see. So, that's why she was interrogating me about yesterday.
まあ身元の割れない携帯電話を用意するあたりも周到ですよね。
He must be quite familiar with the ways of the underworld. I'm beginning to get a faint picture of what this guy is like. What about his age and stature?
年は若いと推測してみます。
Because his voice sounded young.
それもありますが、行動に子供のような遊び心が伺えるからです。
I guess you could put it that way. If he wasn't a little brat, he wouldn't be playing hide and seek along Central Boulevard.
断定はできませんが。
Han verkar gilla att spela spel. Var det han som... Nej, det var, jag vet inte vem utav dem som föreslog att de skulle spela spel i hissen. Of course. Many successful businessmen also have a playful mind. Some people don't forget their youthful passions. In fact, many people have found unexpected success when branching out into work that, as an observer would put it, allows them to play around.
浅井さんのお仕事の話ですか？
Well, I only just happened to talk to people like that by tagging along with my dad. I averted my eyes without thinking.
浅井さんは仕事のことになると目つきが変わりますね。
Of course, because we're talking about money. Money isn't a game.
心なしか声色も変わるような気がします。
Alltså, de ger massa såna här ledtrådar på att han skulle vara en annan person. Som dina ögon ändras, din röst ändras. Det är som att lite så här subtilt säga att det finns i det att du kan ändras. Men samtidigt så känns det som att de slänger ifrån sig för mycket sånt. Så jag tror de vill att man ska tro att det är han som är Maou. Men i slutändan så är det inte det. Jag vet inte, det är jättekrångligt. Tsubaki once told me that too. Like I said, my work involves handling money. During negotiations I speak from the chest to make it harder for them to get a read on me.
そうですか。かっこいいですね。
I'm being stared at. I sighed and said, "You think I'm Maou?" Sami nodded without hesitation.
可能性はゼロではないです。
Does my voice resemble Mao's?
それは何とも言えません。ただ、浅井さんの声は時として変わるなと思っただけです。
Men ja, jag vet inte så här. Det är väldigt svårt att, som sagt, det är jättesvårt att avgöra för det kan vara att de säger såna här saker bara för att man ska tro det. Och sen visar det sig att det inte är det bara för att de ska styra in läsaren på det spåret, men det visar sig att det inte stämmer. Men det skulle lika gärna kunna vara tvärtom också. Det är jättekrångligt. Jag har ingen aning. If you want to talk suspects, I'd say we can't even rule you out yet.
いや、それはないっす。
Det kan nog jag göra i alla fall som en... För jag har ändå sett de två på samma ställe typ. Eller har jag? Jag vet inte.
私自身が魔王ではないと知っているからです。
Well, I also know I'm not Maou. Och jag går också till psykologen för att jag har... Jag vet inte vad det var han hade, men han hade ju något sånt där.
説得力がありませんね。
Nej, inte riktigt. Neither are you. Sami smiled wryly. Okay, how about this?
はい。
Let's make a deal.
最低限、私たちはお互いを疑わないということですか？
Romantiskt. It's good to know that we understand one another.
別に、私は浅井さんを疑っているわけじゃありませんよ。
I'd like to believe that myself, but if you put down a security deposit, then I might believe you.
まあわかりました。何にせよ、浅井さんのことは信用していますよ。
Surely no one would trust someone they barely know unconditionally. Thank you very much. Sami stood up from her seat.
それじゃあ自分、学園行きますんで。
Aren't you taking the day off?
体調が悪いんで休もうかとも思いましたけど、やっぱりサボりはまずいと思うので。
I suddenly realized something. You're actually being serious about not feeling well, aren't you?
まあ、病院に寄るつもりでした。
Do you have a weak constitution or something? I never would have guessed.
いえ、たくましくも可憐なはずですが、スポーツは苦手です。
I'm not sure what she's getting at. Are you going to call a cab?
お金ないので
Tell me when your payday is, and I'll let you borrow some money.
取り立てるってことですか？遠慮しておきます。
Alright then, well, let's stay in touch. There's some sort of history between Usami and Maou. She said it was a grudge, but I'm not sure about the details. However, if they have such a history, there's always a chance that Maou will attempt to come into contact with her again in the future. As long as I keep up a good relationship with Usami, I might be able to pick up some important information.
どうしました？考え事ですか？
Huh? Well,
何を考えているか。
I've almost taken a shine to that cleverness of hers.
浅井さんにとって私がどれくらい役に立つか計りにかけてるんです。
It seems getting close to her won't be a waste of my time. Okay. Bizarre coincidence. I ran into Tsubaki. It was just as I was about to head for Central Boulevard subway station.
やっぱり浅井くんだ。
Men det är också liksom en grej som är väldigt så här fundersam över hur den här version noveln kommer hantera det. För det här är ändå i slutet av dagen så är det här ändå en version novel som har någon form av romans i sig med de här 4 personerna. Så jag vet inte riktigt hur de kommer hantera det, för det känns inte som att själva grundpremissen här känns typ inte som att den har ett naturligt sätt att föra fram en sådan historia på liksom. Så jag vet inte. Än så länge, nu är vi 13 avsnitt in och det känns inte som att vi har någon liksom connection med någon. Den enda vi liksom någorlunda nära, det är liksom Usami. Och då är det är inte som vänner ens en gång, utan det är mer som lite rivaler typ. She can see my face too clearly for me to pretend I didn't hear her. Oh, are you going home now?
学園どうしたの？
I knew she was going to ask me that. Oh, well. Okej. Jag ska bara ta en snabb toapaus. Okej, så vi är tillbaka här igen. Vi ska tydligen komma på något bra svar här. Varför vi inte är i skolan. Make up a reasonable excuse. Tell her I'm cutting. Jag tror make up a reasonable excuse. Vi ska inte vara ärliga mot henne. Det känns inte som att det är rätt val här just nu. Make up a reasonable excuse. Truth be told, I was at a party. Wow, vilken reasonable excuse. In order for her to notice my suit, I adjusted my tie. Okej, vänta, hon frågade... Jag kanske inte frågade om the suit först, utan det var bara det hon frågade om. In order for her to notice my suit, I adjusted my tie.
Party?
My dad is an important person in the financial world. He said he wanted to introduce me to some people.
でもそんな理由で学園を休めるの？
I couldn't help it. I want to be of use to my father.
そっか。浅井くん、いつも忙しそうだもんね。
She looks a bit lonely. You live in the Eastern District, right?
うん、そうだよ。
Why don't we go part way there together then? Why don't we go part way there
倉敷に
together
用事で
then?
もあるの？
Yeah, I need to visit someone.
お友達？
Well, you could put it that way.
浅井くんはお友達多いな。
We walked amidst a sea of people toward the subway station's ticket counter. Land grabbing. To put it bluntly, that's my business here. In the Eastern District, where Tsubaki lives, a large-scale ski resort is under development. However, that area used to be nothing but farmland. The landowners there have owned the property for ages. One company was very particular about buying all the land quickly. After some investigation, I discovered that it was a subsidiary of the Senjou Corporation. If you even think about doing something big in this town, Senjou's omnipresent name will come up sooner or later. The Senjou Corporation is a perfectly clean company, of course. But if there's a problem they can't settle cleanly, they leave the dirty work for us. 5 families. Our contract with Senjou requires us to drive 5 families away from their land.
浅井くん、そろそろ着くよ。
Ja. The subway exit opened. Ja, hon är en av familjerna. Tror jag. The subway exit opened near a small park. Okej, vänta. Nu tror jag att vi snart kommer nära den scenen jag kommer ihåg. För att hon är en av familjen, antar jag. This place is different from Central Boulevard. The sea of people is nowhere to be found. Sure is cold out here.
山が近いからかな。
As Tsubaki was talking, my cell phone vibrated inside my breast pocket. Sorry, I gotta take this. It's Miki-chan. Hello, yes. I see. Not a problem. Jag tror hon är en av familjen i alla fall. Then how about next week? Okay.
電話終わった？
Yeah, it was a friend.
ひょっとして彼女さん？
Yes. I don't have a girlfriend, just to let you know.
前にいるって言ってなかったっけ？
I don't remember ever saying that.
本当にいないの？
Yes. No, still single. I'm not the type for serious commitment. Just to let you know.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Sure was, babe. She seemed embarrassed, but also kind of happy.
彼女さんいるならあんまり一緒に歩いたり CD 買いに行ったりしたらダメかなって思ってたの。
Interspecies relationship? What? Even if I did have one, that much would be fine.
うん。
I'd draw the lines
で
at...
も
Yeah, but it wouldn't... she took a deep breath to show her relief. Apparently to Tsubaki, something of that extent was a major offense. I have some pretty complicated feelings about this one. To be honest, I kind of find her a little hard to deal with. She doesn't do any of the things a normal person would deliberately do to be liked by others. And naturally, when a person is too kind, you have a hard time believing they're genuine.
どうしたの？何か期限？
Even so, she has good intuition. Well, I'll be going now.
どこに行くの？
The address is... Her eyes widened when she heard me repeat the street and number. Tsubaki had always been an interesting girl. She possessed so much of what I lacked. The thought of becoming deeply involved with her crossed my mind.
あ、それって
Coincidence dictated that this thought would become reality.
うちの家の住所だよ。
Ja, exakt. Dorama, Chapter 2, Kidnapping Spree. Okej, så vad var faktiskt namn här? Ja, Kidnapping Spree. Det är exakt en kidnapping, jag kan ju säga det nu. Det är ju knappt en spoiler, men det är kidnappning som jag har minne utav faktiskt. Jag antar att det är snart här nu. He stands there, pondering. It's been almost an hour. Maou closes his eyes. There is no heating, and the ice-cold wall pressed against his back. With such indifference to the cold, it's as if he were a monk who had suppressed all sensation from the outside world. Maou already has a plan. When the plan is carried out, a crime of historical proportions will be brought upon this very city. However, the time is still not right. All the preparations have been made. All that remained was to simply await the perfect moment. It is, to use a cliché, like the calm before the storm. Are there any loose ends left to be neatly tied together? Did he miss anything during the planning phase? He pondered this over and over. He always arrived at the same answer. There's nothing left to do. Right now, his best course of action is to lay low. Usami Haru. If there is any unknown factor in the plan, it's her. Då händer mer så här. Okay. Maou used a detective agency to check up on Usami Haru. That long-haired girl is quite different from normal high school students. He had experienced her incredible intelligence firsthand. The detectives had searched her personal contacts and background as well. In the process, they uncovered that Usami Haru had another side to her. However, it's not something that could threaten Mao's plans. What need is there to fear her? There are plenty of other people who also held a grudge against Maou. He heard the sound of the elevator moving.
遅くなって申し訳ない。
Do you want to play a game with me? Somiya bowed deeply. A hint of sweat rolled down his forehead as he stood up straight.
東区の開発の件で会議が長引いてしまってね。
麦焼酎はいかがでしたか？
He stared at Somiya's red face. He spoke to him with his eyes. It was not a meeting, but a party, wasn't it? I also did my homework about you. About how much you love that liquor. Somiya breathed out words drenched in the smell of alcohol.
すまなかった。大事な相談だったんだ。何しろ国土交通省の役人も来ていたのだから。
結構なことです。ただ時間が有限であることをお忘れなきよう。
The conversation immediately switched gears. Somiya is now quite submissive to Maou. Seeing him soundly defeat even the genius from Boston apparently left quite the impact on him. Somiya doesn't know anything about Maou. Name, age, history, all of his information had been fabricated. But in some businesses, it's better not to know your partner's true nature. After all, it's easy to escape the law that way if it happened to come to that. Somiya tried to be understanding. Mao's biggest contribution to the Senjou Corporation was the smuggling of firearms. Since before the war, the nation's firearm industry was monopolized by a single company. Mao's prowess is what helped break this monopoly on the Japanese firearms market. The Japanese tax on imports was harsh, but Mao saw a weak point in their low tax on exports. By establishing a base in the ports of Niigata and Fukuoka, and by forming ties with the miscreant foreigners who had past experience in doing business with organized crime groups, he formed a route between North Korea and Hong Kong. There were a number of huge risks involved. He knew the country's crisis management was something not to be underestimated. But regardless of how powerful his enemy may be, it was something he had to do.
いや、改めて君の鋭さには驚かされるよ。
They finished talking about business. They'd cover topics like how to cover up the weapons, the method in which to smuggle them, which people they need to win over to their side. Everything had been taken care of.
一つ聞いてみたいのだがね。
Somiya finally relaxed.
君の目的は何なのだ？
目的？
Mokteki?
君ほどの男だ。金ではないのだろう？
The alcohol must have been wearing off. Somiya looked a little tense.
そろそろ長い付き合いになる。君の夢の一つでも聞かせてもらえんかね。
Okay. That look in his eye is not bad at all, he thought. From the very beginning, Mao had never taken Somiya lightly. True, he did think he was easy to manipulate, but not to the point where he would hold contempt for him. When Somiya ascended to the position of director of senior management for the Senjou Corporation, he took the organization in a whole new direction. As part of a policy of rapid expansion, the company invested most of its proceeds into new and different ventures. Of course, since the new plan involved giving lower priority to employee bonuses, there was no shortage of opposition to it. But all of this, even working with Mao and expanding into illegal business, was all for the sake of the company.
私の父は戦中派の人間でね。この会社のために懸命に働き、骨をうずめていった。私は父が大きくした会社を守っていかねばならないんだよ。
ご立派な志です。
He said that sincerely. Even though people called him Mao, Mao never actually thought of himself as some sort of overbearing existence. He knew that Somiya, being over 30 years older than himself, no doubt had certain capabilities with which he himself could not
夢
compare.
などありません。
謙遜するな。君の目は戦いを前にした父の目に似ている。大きな志を持った男の目だ。
夢などありません。本当です。
He said this absolutely. Somiya lowered his head. The man seemed to be trying to hide his disappointment.
まあいい。何にせよ、金で動かない人間は扱いが難しい。
何かお困りのようですね。
鋭いな、君は。何？東区の用地買収がね。
土地を手放したくない人間がいるんですね。
相場の2倍の金を出すと言っても聞いてくれない。あまりに困ったんでプロを雇うことにしたよ。
Probably specialist in organized violence. So, Somia likes these brute methods too. Nowadays though, land sharks can't use the same kinds of violent methods they did back during the bubble. It's understandable that he'd have trouble making a settlement.
あとたったの一区画なんだがね。
Somia took out his notebook. Addresses and blueprints were scattered throughout the pages. He flipped to a page which listed the families unwilling to move out.
いずれにせよ、私には関係のない話です。
Maou flung his hand to cast away the request.
これはすまなかった。君の手を煩わせるつもりはない。
染谷室長が手を煩わせるほどのことでもないでしょう。
Indeed, it would be more appropriate for a section chief at a subsidiary company to be worrying about a matter like this. He was well aware of how much effort the Sanoe Corporation had invested in the Eastern District recreational project. Somia was the director of senior management at corporate headquarters. It would be hard to swallow that his project was so important to him. Certainly, there was more to the story.
国土交通省の方とお会いになっているそうですね。
君にはかなわんな。そう、株だよ。
Insider trading. Indeed, if this project proceeds successfully, the value of the stock would skyrocket, and fast. Somia obviously passed on some information to bribe the official. Just then, Maou picked out a name from Somia's notebook.
三輪椿。
He closed his eyes. Miwa Tsubaki. Where had he heard this name
ど
before?
うかしたのかね。
いえ、
気分が悪そうだが。
Oh yes. She's an acquaintance of Usami Haru.
この三輪椿という少女は自由ヶ崎学園に通っているのでは。
知り合いかね。
Maou chuckled. What should he do with his free time before the storm? The answer to the object of his ceaseless pondering had come together in an instant. He could use Tsubaki to corner Usami Haru, forcing her to
染谷
submit.
室長、私に任せていただきたい。
Somia caught his breath.
どういう風の吹き回しだ。
南米のテロリストの話です。旅客機の中にテロリストが狙う要人がいました。テロリストは要人を殺害するだけでは気が済まなかった。何の罪もない旅客を巻き添えにして飛行機を墜落させました。要人と同じ飛行機に乗っていたという理由だけで。
Okay. Mao's lips twisted into a frown. Negative emotions stirred within him. Emotions he could not suppress. Just as Maou had said, he does not have a dream himself.
私の心にあるのはただ一つです。
さっきから何を言ってるんだ。
すべてお任せください。
Maou turned away from Somia. His whole body trembled. There was one thing, one emotion, able to force Maou into action. Revenge. Only revenge. Chapter 2. Okej, spännande. Det här är ganska spännande faktiskt. Vi ska se, jag kanske inte kommer spela mer idag, men jag kommer spela mer imorgon i så fall. Vi får se. Jag ska gå och fixa lite mat nu i alla fall, så får vi se hur det blir efter det. Det här är i alla fall end of episod 13. OK. Tack så mycket för att ni har tittat på det här avsnittet av Senjou och Maou, så får ni ha det bra tills vi hörs nästa gång. Tills dess, tack så mycket. Hej då!